I'm here with Andrew Broussard, and we're going to have a talk a little bit about Financial Peace University. I've been through the program. Andrew and Mandy have been teaching the program here at Bethel for years. And so we're going to talk a little bit about not only what it's done in our lives, but the significance that it could have in your family.
Yeah, so we're going to be leading a financial peace class kicking off on September 12th. It'll be offered both services, 9 and 10:30. So feel free to join us any one of those. Yeah, so financial peace, it's kind of a tricky subject sometimes. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. Everybody kind of wants to keep it to themselves and things like that. But some things that I've experienced with some of this and that the class has really helped with and us realize is that whenever me and Mandy first started out getting married and stuff, we wanted too much too fast. I wanted to walk out of my parents' house and walk directly into my house that kind of imaged their house. Nice TV, nice vehicles, nice house, and it was just too much too fast.
Yeah.
What took them 40 years, I wanted in 10 days.
That's a good point, because that equates success, right?
Right.
It says to our parents, hey, we're not living like hobos. You know, we've really made it. We're doing well. We want to show that back to them, but you're right, the appropriateness of time, that's a big thing.
Right, and I kind of struggled with that a good bit because I had a good job. I mean, I felt like I was successful in life and making decent money, and Mandy was working and everything, you know, just married and wanting to get out of the house and start our own life. And
you earned it.
We earned it.
Yeah.
And it was just weird how you walk into a clothing store or any store and say, okay, we're going to go get a few clothes and things like that. And you walk in there and at the register they say, hey, do you have our store card? You get a 10% discount if you get on it today.
Which seems responsible.
Which seems responsible.
That's right.
Yeah, sure, we'll sign up for that. Next time we go to that same store to buy clothes or whatever, it's no longer just what we need, but throw that one in there too because we'll just put it on the card.
Yeah.
Pay $20 a month, no big deal.
Because we can afford it.
Because we can afford it.
Yeah.
And then that $20 a month turned into, hey, I want a lawnmower. I can finance a lawnmower for $100 a month. No big deal. You know, we've talked about this before where I went out and bought a tractor. And it was just kind of, I was doing a little bit of dirt work and stuff like that around the house and kind of tired of paying somebody to come do that. And I was like, you know, and I just text Mandy and said, hey, you know, I think we need to look at maybe getting a tractor if we're going to do all this dirt work and stuff like that around the house. She said, yeah, we'll look into that. That afternoon I came home with a tractor. So yes, I am the big spender in the family. But
we don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about that.
But I could swallow that $200 a month bill. I couldn't afford the $20,000 tractor or whatever it was at the time. That was several years ago.
Yeah.
But I could swallow that $200 a month.
And the justification there, right?
Right.
I'm purchasing it so I can do work, which will then save us money that I would be paying to somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have an asset.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, and it just kept snowballing and snowballing and snowballing, and then you just kind of end up where you look up one day and you got $80,000 worth of debt on junk.
So a big part of that in Dave Ramsey is being intentional with your money, assigning your money, ascribing where it needs to go, and that plays hand in hand with the spiritual part, right? We're the being beholden to the lender, that scripture. That's certainly my family's testimony. We the only reason we did Dave Ramsey to begin with was I was on a church staff, and they piloted the Dave Ramsey program, Financial Peace, with the staff before they rolled it out to the whole congregation. So we were basically told that we were going to go through it, and to be fair, I didn't want to do it. I'm the spender, and my wife and I weren't keeping secrets about finance from each other, but we weren't really talking about how to be intentional about it. And after that first video, you know, you watch through the first week, we looked at each other and we went, we're not being responsible with our money at all. You buy a Starbucks every morning, you go out, you get a new circ saw, you do whatever, and bass boat.
Right.
And which is a need.
Right, because sometimes the fish can actually outrun a 25 horsepower motor.
Come on, man.
You got to get that 150 in there.
You need it.
You know, but that's a great point, Mike, is that, you know, the communication side of it. Being honest with your spouse of what we're doing, where do you dream in life? What do you want to see in 15 years?
Yeah.
How does your life want to look like, and what can we do to get there? If we both have common dreams and I go out and buy that bass boat, did I just kill that dream? There's nothing wrong with having the bass boat, but am I willing to make that trade? There's nothing wrong with having nice stuff. But am I in the point in my life where I can make that trade and my future is still aligned with my dreams and my wants later on down the road?
So tell me about number one reason why people don't want to sign up and do financial peace.
I think that probably the number one is that they'll have to really dig deep into what their numbers are. We don't need to know how much money you make.
Yeah.
We don't need to know how much debt you have. We're just there to kind of lay out some of these basic principles the way it's laid out in the Bible.
Yeah.
Kind of what to do with these things. And Dave has a step-by-step program. He calls them the baby steps. There's 7 of them.
Yeah.
Baby step 1, save $1,000 if you don't have $1,000. This is your baby starter emergency fund. You know, baby step 2, you're going to get in there and you're going to pay off your debt using the debt snowball.
Yeah.
Pay off your smallest to highest debt. Regardless of interest rates, regardless of all of these other things, because basically if we were doing math, you wouldn't be paying 18% interest on a credit card for a $100 note.
Yeah. And you feel like a champion when you do that, dude.
Right.
When I had a student loan when we started, and I had like $500 left in the thing, and I said, let's just pay it.
Right.
Let's just pay it now. But we did it the right way and paid it in the increment that we were supposed to pay it off. And man, when we finally wrote that last check, it was like, come on, baby.
Yeah.
But the hard thing is you can't go out and celebrate because your money's all in an envelope somewhere.
Exactly.
You gotta put money in an envelope to go celebrate that you've done a good job.
Right. And okay, so I guess I got a question. Whenever y'all went through it and y'all started using envelopes and cash money
Yeah.
at the register, how different did it feel between handing them a debit card
Oh yeah.
and handing them cash money?
Yeah, the debit card is so easy. You just swipe it, you don't have to think about it. It just
Right.
pulls it. But when you're counting out the physical bills, it changes it.
It changes.
That
It changes.
that 12 gauge feels a little different
Right.
at the register than the old swipe or the chip for
Right,
sure.
exactly.
A
You know,
good 12 gauge.
you put in your card, you get your merchandise that you paid for, and then you get your card back.
Yep.
Whereas if you pay with cash, you give them the money, and you might get some change and your merchandise. There's a definitely mental exchange
That's a great
there.
word. It's something that I was reluctant to go through, and I'll be transparent with you. My wife and I were communicative now about our finances. We talked about it. We didn't get in trouble. We weren't overdrafting our account a lot. But when we began, I didn't want to unearth all of those things.
Right.
I didn't want to talk about that, hey, I'm the spender, she's the saver. You know, and I was worried about, hey, we work at a church. People know how much money I made as a pastor, yet still I didn't want to disclose all that information. But just like you said, the program is set up to be transparent as you allow it to be.
That's right.
And I found that when I was more open with the information to get help, it's just like any other sin or any other thing in our life. When we allow accountability in our life, it changes the progress. We move forward faster when you let someone all the way in instead of just cracking the door.
Right. Yeah, you're definitely right about that.
Yeah.
You know, and whenever we did our first class, I was a little reluctant to thinking that, oh, we're gonna have to share this and share that, and oh, how much do we share?
Yeah.
But towards the end of it, it's like, you know what? Me and you were in the same boat.
Yes.
We got just as much each other. I mean, you know, whenever we did our first class, it was insane. I think we had like 50 people in there.
Yeah.
Back in 2015, and it was over $1 million in debt.
Oh yeah.
You know, and what could we do with $1 million as
Yes.
a church family?
Yeah.
And the majority of these things were just student loans, vehicles.
Oh, yeah,
What
dude.
a killer, vehicles.
You were telling me earlier, you said you grew up and you always remembered your dad's final 3 years where you lived in his house. He had a
Right.
great truck.
Right.
I wanted to go out and get the same truck my dad had. I was
Right.
working hard. I deserve it.
Right.
But then thinking back as a kid, he drove that old green
That old
beat up
beat up truck, you know,
forever.
forever.
Yeah, so that he could get the nice truck later
So that
on.
way you could get the nice truck
Yeah.
later on. So we'll be starting Financial Peace University on September 12th. It'll be offered at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock or 10:30 service on Sundays. I hope to see y'all there. Come join us. It's a life-changing experience. and it can go as far as you want it to go.